of SAHarvest, Ozzy Nel. Ozzy, good morning and congratulations.
Good morning, Ntsako. It's such a privilege to be speaking to you and sharing our story with the listeners on this beautiful morning. Are you well?
I am excellent. I am yet to meet an Aussie who isn't doing something legendary. I don't know if it's the name, if you're Osborne or you are Nell. You guys are just doing amazing things.
Thanks, man. But I must also say that I have an incredible team with me in this, and yeah, it's such a privilege. What we've been able to do is just unthinkable
Mm.
on the back of real giants in the supply chain.
Yeah, and I mean, look, how do you manage to, in fact, how do you feel about this award, number one? And two, I mean, it's the highest award in, the categories and the whole, evening. So what does it mean now for food security in Africa?
Well, let me take you one step back. So, what is important to understand, the problem is huge. In South Africa specifically, we've got more than 10 million tons of food going to landfill. This is edible, nutritious food. And often, this food is situated at farm level or pack house that's very far removed from where community based organizations could turn it into a meal. And that's why it's so important to have a system that can cater for that. And we were very, very lucky to be able to build an incredible relationship with the Road Trade Association.
Mm.
So they work with the large logistics companies, and through that collective that we've built, we were able to then move thousands of kilograms of stock all over the country through what we call their reverse logistics. So that is when trucks are coming back empty from a specific route, we were able to map that. And it's yeah, the work has just been incredible, and we've also been able to move a lot of stock for other smaller organizations that could benefit from this.
I mean, you guys are also, killing two birds with one stone here because you have the reverse logistics supporting you in terms of trying to navigate the food waste and food, I guess, redirection, redistribution, but also providing hunger relief, which is quite an interesting one now. How did you manage to, especially the reverse logistics model? I want us to kind of dig deep into that because a lot of us think innovation means going forward. Sometimes it's actually going backwards. And you guys have actually defined that for us now by saying that it's actually sometimes you actually have to go back to go forward.
I completely agree with you. We had to be smart about our solution. If we looked at the amount of food that goes to waste in South Africa, there was no way that we could scale that amount of trucks to move the stock. So it was really about finding the giants and building a collective where they can all work together. And that is what we managed to do. And it's been such an incredible journey. It was so humbling for us to see the willingness in the industry. In South Africa, I don't know if you know, but about 80% of freight is actually moved on road, very little on rail.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, that has been incredible. We've also managed to work with Chip. The
Mm.
Chip does the huge agri bins. So we are now able to put these massive bins, hundreds of them, at farm or pack house level. So
Mm.
there's no cost for a farmer. They can literally just divert their stock that they can't sell into these bins, and then through this reverse logistics model, we are able to move it everywhere in the country.
Mm, mm. And I mean, also now the impact on climate, because I want to come back to that. I mean, when we look at our food and the relationship with food and the climate, they're siblings, so one can't work without the other, right? How has
Exactly.
this also impacted the environment?
So I mean, if you think about it from a practical point of view, we haven't put any more trucks on the road. These trucks are already moving, and we just utilizing space that would have gone to waste on the one side. The other side is if you do the maths, as an organization, we've already prevented 53,000 tons of CO2 emissions by building this.
Mm.
And we're only scratching the surface of what can be done as a collective in this space.
I wanted to ask something a little bit more technical. I feel like with approaches, especially on an operational level, I think you deal with change management quite often in your portfolio and having to integrate certain new systems. But I want us to just take a short break quickly, and I want us to get into the technical side of this approach. It is a 6:40 Central African time. Let's take a short break.
Mornings made better with Peter and Asanda on Rise and Shine, weekdays 6 till 9.
Former politician and diplomat, he's the leader of the Democratic Alliance Party at one stage, and also served as South Africa's ambassador to Argentina, Uruguay and Paraguay. Ambassador Tony Leon, if you were party leader now and in the GNU, what would you be pushing for?
I can speak with some direct experience because, as you might know, I was actually one of the negotiators of the GNU last year when it was formed. What I'd be pushing for is to hold the government or the president's feet to the fire on actually operationalizing the agreement that was implemented. Unfortunately, that agreement has been honored only in its breach. And I think, go back to basics and just say, okay, we're not going any further with this arrangement until we actually implement these steps.
Mornings made better with Peter and Asanda on Rise and Shine. TheOasis with Ntsako Mhlanga.
6:41 Central African time. Welcome back to it. We're in conversation with the COO of SAHarvest, Ozzy Nel, and we're unpacking this amazing award and accolade that they've achieved recently. They were recognized with the Judges Spotlight Award, which is the highest accolade at the African Supply Chain Excellence Awards of 2025 for its pioneering reverse logistics model that rescues surplus food and reroutes it to community organizations nationwide. Ozzy, thank you for hanging 10 for us. So I wanted to ask, because it goes without saying that there's a lot of change management, especially when you are navigating new approaches with your solutions. And I know that we have a lot of people who hold high positions that listen to the show. I want to ask you, how did you navigate that? Introducing a system like this requires a team that works over time, understands the mission, understands the vision, but also know the role of this new approach and how it could potentially impact the organization. And because you're at operational level, I just want us to give us a little bit of background around that. How did you navigate, kind of approaching or telling the team or leading the team with this new approach?
It's so funny that you mentioned the word change management, because really, you can build all the tech in the world, but if you don't have the people, the buy-in, you're going nowhere. And funny enough, we literally were able to build a human chain. So what happened was we went to the road freight, and we didn't realize how the Road Freight Association would plug us into like-minded, huge organizations on the ground already in supply chain. But then there are so many ripple effects when you get the buy-in from other stakeholders and you build a collective where everybody together works for a common goal. And then I think it's really, really what's important. And if I can share just a short story with you, of one of the ripple effects which happened was I was doing some work in Nelson Mandela Bay in the floods, and we were doing some relief work with one of our partners, and we were sending not just food but also a lot of clothes through Vector Logistics to Nelson Mandela Bay, all the way from Johannesburg. And that morning, about 6:30 in the morning, the trucks arrived, and I took a coffee to the driver because I knew he was driving right through the night to get the stock to us. And I looked at him, and he had such a friendly disposition on his face. And I said, my brother, you've driven all through the night and you're still so happy. And I said to him, why? And he said, today I'm not delivering food. Today I'm delivering hope.
Oh, wow.
And I could not believe it. I had to take a moment and understand what we've built here. It's got such a ripple effect for the morale of other companies being part of this collective. And that is really what you can scale when you get the buy-in.
And I just feel like as well we're playing on people's purposes as well. You know, you might find that
Absolutely.
some of the people that are part of your organization never really saw themselves doing this, but they always knew that they wanted to be a change maker. They wanted to serve the community in one way or the other. So it's beautiful that even personnel of the organization feel the impact of the work.
Yep.
You know, delivering hope. Like that's such a deep thing, because
It is.
even if he decides to retire today, he knows that at some point in his life he delivered the one thing that we're trying to spread across the world, which is hope. It's the only thing stronger than
Absolutely.
fear. It's incredible. So what's next? What can we look forward to? You know, an accolade like this. I hope you guys celebrate it the way that you needed to. And what can we look forward to? More partnerships, more projects. What can we expect from SAHarvest?
Look, you know, I mean, from SAHarvest, we're always going to stay focused on having deep-rooted relationships in our communities. There's still a lot of food that needs to be moved. But what we've realized by building this collective, we have become a conduit for all sorts of interventions at community level. So that is the plan. How do we bring other stakeholders along with different interventions? I mean, a lot of the young people we work, a lot of times they are psychologically stuck. So there's skills development that needs to happen, you know, some trauma counseling, all these type of things. And what we want to build is that conduit, even though we stay in the food side, because everything happens with food. It starts with food. But we know that so many marginalized people need a lot of other types of interventions as well. And what we've built with road freight is we've got such capacity to move stock. So we're always going to be looking for more manufacturers, more farmers, retailers, people that have access and will trust us, you know, through our tech and our people to move it in a safe way so that we really scale this, even for other small organizations that don't have the logistical capability.
I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys are doing, and we can't wait to celebrate you in the future. Please don't be strangers. We love celebrating, you know, organizations like yourselves that are dedicated to delivering hope.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. What a privilege talking to you and the listeners this morning
Amazing.
and sharing our story.
Amazing stuff, Ozzy. Thank you so much. It is at 6:47 Central African time. That was Ozzy Nel, who is the COO of SAHarvest, an amazing organization that is, you know, really game changer. So just some of the social and climate impact. They provide daily support for over 100,000 people with the voided 53,000 tons of CO2 energy and about 314 million rand worth of food unlocked for communities. How amazing is that? It is 6:48 Central African time. I hope you are the Minister of Enjoyment International. This song really describes you at its best. I absolutely love it. We're heading to the second hour of the show. Let me know if the sun has risen, guys. Give me at least, I used to tell you that, you know, the sun is shining with us. But now we have upgraded our studios and we don't have the windows because we are downstairs now. We're in broadcasting studios. So I need you to tell me on WhatsApp, +27634069126. Even better if you can take a picture of the beautiful sunrise from your perspective. The African sun is very different from the sun that the world shares. I'm convinced. And no one can convince me otherwise. 6:48.
Channel Africa and you.